With us on duty today are 10 number 21 from Petah Tikva, virtual group Israel, Los Angeles, Colombia, 10 number 4 from Brazil.
The prayer of many, Rabash. And since the abundance comes to the entire collective, and since there is no light without a kli, vessel, meaning it is impossible to receive fulfillment if one has no vacant place where the filling may enter. He is therefore answered for that prayer that he was asking for the public. It is as our sages said, anyone who asks for mercy over his friend is answered first, since he needs the same thing. It means that although the abundance comes to the collective lack the kelim. In other words, the abundance that comes from above is enough for the whole nation. But without kelim, that is deficiencies, so that they can fill those vacant places, the public does not attain the abundance that comes from above. Rather, the one who has deficiencies is answered first. We'll move to Los Angeles.
Question number 1 for an active workshop. What actions can we do to accelerate our preparation to the Congress in the remaining week? What actions can we do to accelerate our preparation to the Congress in the remaining week?
The actions that we need to take are, in my opinion, to integrate with what's happening, and as much as possible with the friends who are arriving, to share with them, to participate, to take every opportunity. Yesterday, after the Yeshivat Chavrim, I remained here with a friend to work on some things, and as it ended, all kinds of spontaneous gatherings started up here, and there's just an opportunity every moment now to integrate.
Yep. As much as possible to vacate our place, ourselves, free ourselves for this very rare time that will never come back. Look at it as an opportunity of once in a lifetime. And as much as possible, other than things that are truly necessary, to try to be every moment, every second, in every such opportunity of connection, with the intention to support and to integrate.
Yes, we can speak about these actions. We're already in the Congress in regards to how we feel, all these things we're doing. We can talk about all kinds of assemblies and all kinds of actions of preparations. Let's look at what Niv said. For example, there is an opportunity now for points in the heart all over the world to assemble, and we hope that new points in the heart will also awaken and come to the Congress. And we just need to generate, to build a place which will bring contentment to the Creator by this very action, the very assembly and the effort to connect.
I'm sure that we're all doing a lot. It seems to me that there are not that many things that we can add. However, I would say that just like throughout the Congress, we don't do anything that is not related to the Congress, I would say that now, maybe the few days we have left before, we should also look at the little spare time we have and try, as much as possible, not to engage in external things, but rather to look at it as though we're in the Congress now. From 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. when we're there, we don't do anything other than that. So we have work, a little bit of family, and etc. But other than that, nothing.
Yes, and as is our way, when there is an opportunity to ascend, there are also the appropriate corresponding disruptions. And I think a great way to accelerate our inner preparation for the Congress is simply to discuss it more, to connect around it as a 10, to connect around it as we do, to tell each other what we're doing, to tell each other of friends that impress us as they arrive here, to just set times where we accelerate our preparation for the Congress.
And to use the recent lessons, that every lesson is like a new degree in order to take it there, in order to pray for the Congress, so that when many of our friends will gather.
Spirituality, we learn, is constant acceleration. There can't be a state where we keep the same speed. We only accelerate constantly. And this is a time to be aware of places where we can accelerate during the day, as we connect with the friends from the World Kli during the lesson, when we prepare for the lesson or hear it again, to see every time, every occasion as an opportunity for acceleration.
And besides the lessons and besides the gatherings, I think that I very much connected to what Gershon is saying, to simply accelerate this force that exists here even more. To each one should help the friends, push the friends, and press the friends into the corner in order to make an even greater effort to come out of ourselves and make a greater effort to integrate and to now we have an opportunity and we have to jump on it with both hands.
And we as a 10 have an additional opportunity, which I think about a lot. It's to be the 10 on duty on Saturday. 10 on duty on Saturday, the Saturday before the Congress. There can't be a greater spiritual and critical occasion. And we've received the opportunity, the responsibility to awaken the hearts of the friends. And I think we should have started this yesterday.
And the World Kli that is coming here, it's an opportunity to meet friends who live with us on the screens physically and to perform actions with them. We can have some beer together. That's a great profit also. I know that on Tuesday in Tel Aviv, in the Point in the Heart, Berach Tikva, in the World Kli, it's going to be really happy. It's a big occasion. At other places, we're going to have a special activity together with friends from the World Kli. So we have what to do.
And perhaps to truly seek to incorporate more with the friends from the World Kli. I'm very impressed when I see them and I feel their presence here, but perhaps something a little closer. It helps to get to know the friend a little, to exchange a few words, to go drink beer, something. It can add, it can help to the connection.
Indeed, it's quite a responsibility, this thing about being the 10 on duty on Shabbat.
For the second question, this is going to be a silent workshop. Let's scrutinize this together. How can we come to a complete prayer for the friend in this lesson? Again, how can we come to a complete prayer for the friends in this lesson? And again, this is going to be a silent workshop.
למען אחי ורעי, למען אחי ורעי, למען אחי ורעי, עד אברת השלום בא, למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לה. למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לך. למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לך. למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לך. למען אחי ורעי, למען אחי ורעי, למען אחי ורעי, עד אברנה שלום בא. למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לה. למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לך. למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לך. למען בית השם אלוקינו, אהבה כשטוב לך.
Hello friends, we remind you that we do not use cell phones during the lesson, except for friends on duty who have received authorization. Anyone who wants to ask a question, please stand up, hold the microphone close to your mouth and speak clearly. Coffee for men is on the ramp outside. Coffee for women, the coffee station for women is in the hall next to this one. We'll be reading the writings of Rabash, article The Purpose of Society, Part 1, page 9.
Hello, we're reading from the social writings of Rabash, page 9, Purpose of Society 1. You can also download the essay from our website, and you can ask questions through kab.tv. Again, Rabash, social writings, page 9, The Purpose of Society 1.
We study the wisdom of Kabbalah from the system of reality, which is entirely the final act, is the initial thought. A kli, a vessel, was made by the upper light, created by the power of bestowal, and this kli is opposite. It is the power of reception. The power of bestowal creates this kli, something out of nothing, and fills it, meaning gives it pleasure. And this kli, this will to receive, is entirely under the governance of the light. And the purpose is for this kli to come to a state where it is supposedly governing the light, rather than the light governing it. My sons have defeated me. That's what will happen. Meaning that they'll come to the complete equivalence of form. This is very complicated and also hard to understand. And therefore, we come to this through a great many actions which go over this will to receive, and by which it is gradually corrected to being like the light which created it, which comes fully according to his attainment. It becomes fully like the light in attainment and understanding and power and everything. This means that the Creator wants the created being to be as he is, to govern him as it seems to the created being that the light of the Creator governs the created being. And to come to these states, we can only come by stages, gradually. The same way we want our children to be greater than us. And this comes from this plan of creation, by which the created being comes to a greater size or magnitude than the Creator, not by the Creator lifting the created being up in its arms, but rather by the created being becoming powerful, understanding, and insightful like its emanator. And therefore, this correction is a gradual one, which happens to the created being. To begin with, the created being is established like these spiritual systems from the thought of creation, which cascade down throughout the spiritual ladder. They descend, as Baal Sulam writes in the preface to the Wisdom of Kabbalah. They come to him through the systems, and down to this world. And here the light and the vessel take on the form of a corporeal body and the way it lives. And from here, we begin to return through the inanimate plant, animal. The degree of human speaking begins to develop. And to these higher degrees, as I said, the purpose of creation is that we must come to complete equivalence of form with the Creator. And this process has to be a gradual one, because the created being was created to begin with compatible to the light, matching the light, which created it through 4 phases, by which the light creates the created being in Havaya, 4 stages, 4 degrees, and then the created being also has to equate itself with the light in 4 degrees, from below upwards, from Malchut to Keter. And in this, there are certain processes. First of all, we develop as human beings in this world, and then comes the stage of the revelation of the Creator within the created being for the first time, which is in Adam HaRishon. Adam HaRishon is a system. It happens in Adam. And later on, throughout the 20 generations from Adam, through his students to Avraham, and in Avraham something special happened. 10 generations from Adam through to Noach are 10 generations supposedly from below upwards, from upwards to downwards rather, and then on the 10 generations are from below upwards. And these are all kinds of processes. And Avraham is the first person who receives a clear understanding that this correction needs to be a gradual process throughout the whole of humanity, in all of the humanity of back then, which is Bavel, and gradually. And therefore he gives this clarion call, whoever is for the Lord, come to me, and he gathers people from all of Bavel, as if he takes the cream of the crop from the population of Bavel, the 70 nations of the world, which will, well, later on they spread throughout the world. And he assembles the group, which is made up of representatives of the 70 nations of the world, and they come to love thy friend as thyself. In that, well, there's no connection between them. They belong to all these little nations which back then filled Bavel. And there was no connection between them. Well, to a small extent, yes. There was, but in general, just a simple, friendly kind of relations, single words, as it is said, as it is written. It was a primitive kind of connection. They lived well and had this corporeal kind of friendship, fellowship. And then, when the Tower of Bavel erupted between them, unfounded hatred, then Avraham called above this unfounded hatred, above the Tower of Bavel, let's say, he called them, saying that we need to connect, and whoever feels that this is true, that there is no other choice, come to me. And then, of all these little nations, people gathered unto him. Meaning, for the first time, we see here that the correction is gradual. First of all, he calls these people who are ripe, ready, from the 17 nations of the world, and they establish a group of pioneers which will facilitate this correction, and they truly did that, and they came to the summit of the connection, the peak of the connection, which is called the first temple. This is their great spiritual connection, and then there was a shattering, and they dispersed throughout the nations of the world, meaning this Bavel, which meanwhile covered the whole face of the planet. And there is a process of integration. As is written, the sons of Israel did not go out to exile, but only to gather unto them the souls of the nations, meaning to give the nations of the world this concept of the correction. We don't see how this was done. It's subterranean, so to speak. And a gradual spiritual development thus comes to the world throughout these 2,000 years. And as far as the Kabbalists are concerned, this ended at the times of the Ari, and even more so our times, as the Kabbalists say, and according to the way we understand that this is so. And when we begin start upon the same task, this same mission to publish this knowledge in the current Bavel regarding the necessary correction, the mandatory correction which has to come over this Babylonian crisis which happens in our days, then when all those who awaken by our clarion call come to us, and that's what we try to do, according to the example of Avraham, our patriarch. And again, the correction is gradual, as Baal Sulam writes, at the end of the introduction to the book of Zohar. But the main correction is in the tens, in even smaller groups, which we assemble from all these people who feel that his heart is concerned within him. And so the main thing for us is to do this in smaller societies, smaller groups, and then it spreads out to greater audiences. I wouldn't want to delve into this too much, but we'll study it and we'll add then. I just wanted, prior to embarking upon the study of the purpose of the society, I'd like you to just depict this simple image. Each and every one of you, each and every one needs to see that before him there is a barrier, an obstruction, and he can pass it and enter the house of the Lord, the hall of the King, the spiritual ladder, where there are further degrees, but this is the one's soul teaches him how to walk this path. But the first stage, which is the most important and most difficult, namely to enter this ladder, is such that I need to gather forces from 9 other friends. If even one is missing, I can't reach, I can't jump above this wall that stands before me, separating me from the house of the Lord. So how do I depict to myself that I receive the forces from my 9 friends, which I require, without recruiting these forces? I'm completely hopeless. I have zero hope. So please, this is the first question. First of all, how do I depict to myself a state where I have absolutely no power to achieve spirituality, if I'm alone? And how do I depict to myself that all of the forces, the powers from all of my friends, I must accumulate within me, gather, and only by this connection of all of these powers, these forces within me, the correct connection, all of these powers, when they accumulate within me, I'll be able to jump over this wall which separates this world of mine and the spiritual world, the whole, the house of the Lord. Please.
We've gone through many years, many attempts by each one of us to do this kind of action by himself. Each time we came back to sitting together, staying in the same status. Each time we have this kind of progress, that kind of progress, some discernments, but we always came back to the same point. And a change will come when each one of us will feel differently regarding everyone. He will realize that their lives depend on him. And from here, he will come closer and draw forces from the 10 in order to carry out the first action, which is truly for your sake.
Yes, it's not a simple change to make, where I recognize the nothingness of my own power, because what do I have other than my own power? So the Kabbalists say that you don't have the power, and you yourself eventually see this as well. But there's this matter here of being impressed by the society, gathering powers from them, to be impressed such that only this connection, this impression from the friends can give you the required strength.
The will to receive doesn't want to hear these things. And to the contrary, the more we advance, it seems as though we're doing things, we're attaining, but actually, until we really comprehend that we don't attain anything, that in spirituality we are not advancing, and it's all externality, and we don't hear the most important thing, that the goal is connection, and through connection to reach the revelation of the Creator.
Yes. Before we began to work in the tents in an intensive manner, everything seemed nice and simple. Love your friend as yourself, the reforming light, we're all together, the Creator together, everything's great. So apparently we did something good, and this little flashlight lit up reality, put these 9 friends in front of you, and then it was disclosed that there really is a wall which separates between you and the friends. It's a wall within you, and it needs to be shattered. And when you try it alone, you find that you don't have the strength for this. And so you need to return, come back to the light, to ask its help, to ask it for help. As it revealed this wall to us, it needs to help us destroy it.
Without a doubt, the more we advance on the path, and especially since we started gathering in this form of tents and in these workshops, we feel that there's a much greater coping that the friends have to do. I don't know if we can imagine the state where we jump. We simply have to feel that there's no way out. Maybe if we imagine it, it helps us advance through that state somehow.
We need to collect all of the words of the friends right now, to gather them into one place, to ask the upper force to dwell in this effort that we're making now to gather and to be revealed in the connection between us.
Yes, to enter a state of a request from the upper force, that we are in a system, but we don't recognize it. But together we try to unite and to ask, to change and to work as we should work in spirituality.
The work outside of me, it's a work that is not done with my regular fuel, which is what do I receive, but rather what can I give of myself, and to connect to what the Creator sends to me, which appears to me as external to me.
Rav, we call that I need support from the friends, support from the group, but that's not what I said. I said that I have to draw their forces, their yearning, towards the goal, so that I will have all of these 10 forces. I actually am speaking in this egoistic manner, right? That I need to have these 10 forces that I take from each one of them, then I will be capable of jumping over the wall and entering the Garden of Eden. How do I get from all of them, from all of these friends or not friends, it doesn't matter. How do I get from all of them forces, so that I will have one great force? By which actions can I draw from them their yearning for spirituality? So that all of the sparks in them will connect in me. And this is how it should be in each and every one. There's no problem. The light can shine to everyone and it won't be lacking. So, how do I accumulate these sparks from everyone? these forces, these yearnings towards the goal. And then I will have sufficient power to enter the first spiritual degree. For the second spiritual degree, again, I will have to get from them even greater forces, on top of even greater rejections and problems, etc. Just like the students of Rabbi Shimon, if the example we know, in order to go to another degree over another obstacle. By which actions do I gather all of these forces and yearnings for spirituality from the friends? Please.
I think that the action, on one hand, is truly to collect, but on the other hand, it is to help each and every friend to collect, meaning to generate pressure on each other, so that each one feels the necessity of this action. Not necessity, just that it's mandatory. Everyone is pushed into a corner and must perform this action. And perhaps this is, practically speaking, called arvut between us. And each one just helps, forces, and helps each friend to come out of himself.
There's an exercise Rav gave a few days ago that a person should imagine that he's being filled up with the deficiencies of the friends, with their yearnings. And another time he comes out to them and he supports them and he's in them. Only then, by this action, the Creator can come in.
True. In our path, there's always such work where in order to advance even 1 millimeter, we have to go above reason, above the state you're in right now. And this 1 degree, this 1 millimeter above, is always contradictory to your own rationale, and intellect, and emotion. You always need to get power and confidence from the friends, who by their persistence and the joy in this work, they give you the feeling that we're able to go this 1 inch above our reason.
You can't get anything from the friends and in general if you don't make some room in yourself. So that word that we repeat a lot is annulment. A person should try to annul towards the friends, Rav, the group, the books, and to try to get something from them. From himself, he will always be blocked.
In order to get forces from the friends, I have to see them as great. What helps me see the friends as great, beyond all of the actions which the great friends perform, which evokes jealousy, envy in me, is to imagine that they're all part of me, projections of myself. They're parts of me. They have to be greater than me. And this gap is then formed where I want to invite the Creator to help me feel, because I want to see them as parts of me, and I love myself dearly, as we say. So I have to love them to the same extent, or something like that.
To demand, to cry out to the Creator that He will give me the power to annul it, to see the friends who are big, great Kabbalists.
Kabbalists, as friends, I need just to awaken to that reality, and to awaken to that reality means, well, it requires me to put them deeper in my heart, to have a greater connection with them. On every degree of mine, I have to feel them as more important to me as my spiritual investment.
Rav, when we speak of the correction and say it should be gradual, right? That it is impossible at once to correct the entire Kli, but only gradually. How does this form of gradual correction exist in that we are incorporated in each other, that each one has to take forces from the 10, from the 9 others with him, and then he can correct himself. Right? So I can't work with my ego, and when I get forces from the 9 friends, and I yearn with their forces on top of my ego, that I stomp over it and trample it, and with their forces specifically I yearn for the Creator. By that I create the Kli, Malchut, that's me, the first 9, that's them, and then I reach a request from the Creator, contact with the Creator. How does this style of correction explain to us the gradual correction of the entire Kli? I'm trying to depict to you some clear images, facts, that will simply persuade you that this is how we have to work. There's no choice. That the hitkalelut, the integration, is a must. How do I build my partzuf so that my first 9 are how I'm included in the friends, their powers, their tendencies towards the goal, and I, the egoist, just restrict myself, my ego, and my whole inclination towards the goal is actually only sufficient to connect to myself the friends' yearnings, but those yearnings become my first 9, my spiritual qualities in which I attain the Creator. This means that, in truth, my soul is outside of me, it's in the friends, and I only have the power to restrict my ego and to integrate with them, to subjugate myself towards them. Is this form clear? So now the question is, what's in it is the gradual correction that we have to carry out bit by bit, gradually, until we reach the complete correction. Speak together and at max, think about the fact that there is a reforming light. Let's go.
Okay, so let's perhaps begin with this direction. We say that the 10 is the achap of the upper one, and everything we need is to integrate in it. And what it ascends, we ascend gradually.
And therefore, the wall that is separating me from the Creator is actually my whole life, which are defined within my desire. And you are the representatives of the Creator who are outside of me. So the action is to replace all of my livelihood, my definition of life, which I feel inside my desire, with the filling up your yearnings and desires. It's not that I pass with you. I stay, and the wall that is revealed is now, it's beyond that wall called my life. There is new life which is revealed called the Creator.
I had this image between the 0 state, which is a complete egoist, to the last state where there's only the power of bestowal in existence, and there's a concern for the whole world, and everything is connected into one, Kli and light connecting to one. There are many stages, 125 at least, and between every stage there's this form that you have to fill, like a clearance form when you get released from army. Did you care for Gershon? Did you care for Sasha? Did you care for the friends to this or that extent? And then you have these, when you get these 9 signatures, you can rise to the next degree.
You start feeling the friends, the desires that now are felt by you as something foreign, as something that doesn't belong to you. You start feeling them as yours. You start feeling that nobody has any personal problem, rather it all belongs to you, it's all connected to you.
You want to feel it that way. You want to start to relate to it like that. There's no other choice. I've spoke of it being gradual, and I think the friends are part of me, and I must begin to develop sensitivity to their inclinations to connection and the Creator. They're parts of me. Otherwise, I won't be able to do anything. And slowly, and supposedly gradually, we develop a sensitivity to the friends who are next to us, and gradually to the whole world, to identify the inclinations towards connection there.
What is the gradualness in? It has to be like a kli, 10 sfirot. We, each one of us from below.
Rav, before me are 9 friends. And we begin to integrate. Each one discovers his measure of resistance, objection, and his measure of necessity. Both the will to receive and something which will be the will to bestow in the future. They're integrated together. They acquire the first degree, attain it, and within each and every one, a greater aviyut, a greater thickness, a greater corporeal desire awakens, meaning in order to receive, that is called gashmi, corporeal. It may be spiritual, but in order to receive. And also a yearning, which we work on all together. And again, the goal of each one is to collect from everyone his first 9 and to restrict his own will to receive, and so to build another partzuf. In each and every degree, the will to receive grows, right? Becomes bigger, enlarged, and accordingly we develop the will to bestow and incorporate in the will to bestow everyone, all the friends, and the will to receive we restrict, and over them, over this malchut, we build the first 9. And this is the way. So in effect, that's how we, in this 10, advance through to the end of correction. The difference is that each time the will to receive grows in everyone, and we need to integrate, incorporate with the will to bestow of the others, the first 9, and thus we advance. This is the gradual correction which we have to undergo. And therefore, when I see before me my 10, I need to see that this is the kli, this is the vessel, which from here through to the end of correction, and even after that, this kli remains for me to use in relation to the Creator, in respect to the Creator. From it, I act towards the Creator. Please discuss it. Or in another way, what is the purpose of society, of the society? Please.
The purpose of society is to enable each and every one to build a spiritual kli outside of himself, instead of in the egoistic kli, to start building a kli which is right ahead of him, before him. In the 9 sfirot, the Creator sends him.
Yes, and this spiritual kli, it's not just a spiritual kli, it's a spiritual kli which we make according to the way the Kabbalists teach us, not according to our own reasoning, but truly according to the next degree.
And each time the coarseness grows, I find myself again in prison behind very high walls, and I can't get out of this prison. I cannot get out of it. And what does exist is that there's some opening where if I exchange my life in the form of life, it cannot be done through human force, but only by turning to the Creator.
There is something on this path which is very special. In spirituality, only advancement is taken into account. If yesterday, regardless of whatever state you are, if you're in the same state today, this is like death. And how is advancement facilitated? In the connection between us. Always the next degree of connection is revealed to us, and we have to have this great sorrow that we're not there.
Rav, my question was, how can we establish to ourselves, imagine the letter, which is that same 10, that each time receives the burdening of the heart, and each time it works on each one integrating with the others, and that way they climb the ladder. Right? It's a gradual correction. I keep talking about it. How do we depict ourselves so that we are in this process? Please.
The beginning is to feel that you're in a prison, that you need a ladder in order to escape it. If you feel that, without that, there is nothing to begin, to start from.
I feel it specifically in the reciprocity in our mutual work. Sometimes each one goes through personal states, but in practice, the way we revive each other, the way we bring each other out of this state, and from the awareness that this is how it is, that's life, where each one goes through his own states. However, we have a common goal, and each one simply saves the other each time in order to transcend and rise to the next degree.
Yes, we gather here together, all of us, always and in many kinds of ways, and we always want to realize all these ideas that we hear, these good ideas of love between us and connection. And with this work we do together towards one another, we discover the oviyut, which is constantly being revealed, the objections, the gap, and again, the power we generate. By that we ascend and connect another degree in another.
In general, Kabbalists tell us that your soul is in the 10. You need to recognize this state so that your ego will stay in prison, and the door out of prison is your friends. And to ask to be in that, towards the friends, to ask for the force that will help us in that.
To peel more of the layers of the desire which resists the connection with the friends, and to identify qualities in them which I adopt without using my ego as criticism.
Rab, how does the wall become the masach, screen? That's it, I asked you a question. What are you looking at me for?
Perhaps the wall which is revealed, which Shai also spoke about now, symbolizes the place of the correction, where we ask for help, for the correction of our relationships.
It's beyond symbolizing. This is the place of correction. And we must be aware of that.
It's like turning a plus into a minus. If the wall is like a state where I don't want to come out of myself, I don't want to give, then a masach, a screen, is where I don't want to receive for myself. You just need to undergo a small psychological change. and how to use that boundary.
Yes, this wall that now seemingly we can't get out of ourselves, we cannot bestow, that's our salvation. Because practically, if you want to do such a thing, it will be in order to receive. This is exactly the place, like Itai said, it's the place of work. And here it shows you that you cannot do it. Why? Because actually, practically, you are in order to receive. That's practically.
And so, if I don't feel this wall at every moment, it's a sign that I don't want to escape this prison. So this is the first examination. And also, I can't cope with this wall because it's unpleasant. When we discover it, it's not pleasant. So without a request for help from the light,
there has to be the greatness of the Creator in this story. The wall always has justifications, it's always right, correct. The resistance is always very much kind of based on fact. And you must have the greatness of the Creator, must have the purpose between us, so that we'll be able to accelerate. That's how we started. That's our necessity, the greatness of the Creator.
Love. So, right now, each one gives a small speech, a short speech, about how much he needs the friends in order to integrate with them, and specifically with this integration. What does he extract from this integration in order to achieve the revelation of the Creator? Each one gives a speech of 15 seconds, even less. Please.
I feel imprisoned within my thoughts, within my desires, within my ego, within the will to receive, and I feel that I must have some power, a force, a concrete force, not some hidden Creator, but some concrete force that I get from you in order to get out.
And the emergence from myself is an emergence towards you. There is nothing other than your desires, your yearnings, which I want to feel as my own.
And all that I lack practically is just some small pat, to help each one of us to come out. I truly feel that we're all doing this effort. However, there's this little kind of final padding in order to be able to do it.
Take me and just make of me what you will. Me, I don't want to live inside myself any longer.
I'm relying on you, trusting you. Even it's beyond trusting you. I am depositing who I can be spiritually in your hands.
You're parts of my soul. I know that I need to live for you. I know that I need to use my whole life for your sake. And I really need the power to do this.
Yes, for thousands of years we've been praying and asking, but each one is asking for himself and in a different direction. And now an opportunity has opened up for us to connect all of these vectors into a single direction and to ask one common request together, and there lies our good future.
And I expect that from these requests, nothing will be left in me, any fulfillment, but rather that the answer for these requests will be for you.
Because the collection of these motivations that move us is only the true altruistic motivation, which is a motivation that does not exist in me, an attitude to reality that does not exist in me. And only from that I can start generating the new I. We're going to be reading in the Social Writings, page 9, The Purpose of Society 1. Again, reading from this Rabash Social Writings, page 9, The Purpose of Society 1. We have gathered here to establish a society for all who wish to follow the path and method of Baal HaSulam, the way by which to climb the degrees of men and not remain as a beast. As our sages said about the verse, "And you, my sheep, the sheep of my pasture, are men." And Rashbi said, "You are called men, and idol worshippers are not called men." To understand man's merit, we shall now bring a verse from our sages about the verse, "The end of the matter, all having been heard, fear God and keep His commandments, for this is the whole of man." And the Gemara asks, what is "for this is the whole of man"? Rabbi Elazar said, the Creator said, the whole world was created only for that. This means that the whole world was created for the fear of God. Yet, we need to understand what is the fear of God, being the reason for which the world was created. From all the words of our sages, we learn that the reason for creation was to benefit His creations. This means that the Creator wished to delight the created beings so that they would feel happy in the world. And here, our sages said about the verse, "For this is the whole of man," that the reason for creation was the fear of God. But according to what is explained in the essay Matan Torah, the giving of the Torah, the reason why the created beings are not receiving the delight and pleasure, even though that was the reason for creation, is the disparity of form between the Creator and the created beings. The Creator is the giver, and the created beings are the receivers. However, there is a rule that the branches are similar to the root from which the branches were born. And since there is no reception in our root, since the Creator is in no way deficient and needs nothing to satisfy His want, man feels unpleasantness when he needs to be a receiver. This is why every person is ashamed to eat the bread of shame. And to correct that, the world had to be created. Olam, world, means he'alem, concealment, so that the delight and pleasure must be concealed. Why is it so? The answer is for fear. In other words, it is so that man would fear using his vessels of reception, called self-love. This means that one should deny himself from receiving pleasures because one craves them, and should have the strength to prevail over the craving, the object of one's desire. Instead, one should receive pleasures that bring contentment to the Creator. This means that the created being will want to bestow upon the Creator and will have fear of the Creator, of receiving for oneself, since reception of pleasure, when one receives for one's own benefit, removes him from cleaving to the Creator. Therefore, when a person performs one of the mitzvot, commandments of the Creator, one should aim that this mitzvah will bring him pure thoughts, that he will want to bestow upon the Creator by keeping God's mitzvot. It is, as our sages said, Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia says, the Creator wanted to cleanse Israel, hence He gave them plentiful Torah and mitzvot. And this is why we gather here, to establish a society where each of us follows the spirit of bestowing upon the Creator. And to achieve bestowal upon the Creator, we must begin with bestowal upon men, which is called love of others. And love of others can only be by revoking oneself. Thus, on the one hand, each person should feel lowly, and on the other hand, we should be proud that the Creator has given us the chance to be in a society where each of us has but a single goal: for divinity to be among us. And although we have not yet achieved this goal, however, we have the desire to achieve it. And this, too, should be appreciated by us. Even though we are at the beginning of the way, we do hope to achieve the exalted goal.
What? Niv, you're making a face? Questions? Nothing to ask? Yes.
There's a lot. I simply noticed that none of the guests is putting up his hand in the air, so I hear from the text that equality in the society is very important and that everyone must be equal on some level.
What does it mean, equal? I don't know.
Equal, it means that nobody stands out egoistically.
Well, I don't know. It may be. I don't know. We need to check. If no one stands out in an egoistic manner, it still doesn't say anything. There's a group of thugs, criminals, who are connected. There's mutual responsibility between them, arvut, mutual responsibility, and even mutual love, right? And equality, of course.
What I'm trying to ask is, I don't feel equal with the friends. There are friends here who has been on a path for many years, and I feel smaller than them. On the other hand, there are friends where my ego is confusing me and I think that I'm greater than them. So, the other part, maybe we can erase it, ignore it, but in the first part, I don't want to be equal with the ones that I'm smaller than them, that they are greater than me, because I want to receive from them what they received from Rav, from the books. So how, in a society that is trying to maintain this value of equality, how do I, on the one hand, be in what Rabash writes, on the other hand, not lose what you can get from friends who have been in it for many years and they attained all kinds of things already?
Again, I don't look at the bodies. In each one of them, there is a passion for the goal. With these passions, I need to connect. And it may be that he's new in the society, or perhaps a veteran, with a great desire, or so it seems to me, or a smaller desire. How can I see a difference even? But I want to collect all of these desires. That is important to me. And therefore, that is how I look at them. I don't look at their egos. The ego, of course, exists in each one, and it erupts more or less. Each time they occupy all kinds of states. But I want to always be impressed by their desire to attain the goal. This is what I like. When I reap the harvest, gather the harvest. That's what I need to do, to get this from them. And I can receive this on the condition that I see them as great and myself as small. And that is all of the work. There's nothing more. The moment I've collected from them through surrender, connection, never mind how, but as soon as I collected this impression from them, their passions, and this impression is in me to some extent, with this impression I begin to get some contact with the Creator, connection with the Creator, because this impression comes through my subjugation towards them, surrender to them, and it's an impression from them, meaning it's not my own, not from my own will to receive, but it comes about through me surrendering, subduing myself, and then receiving this impression from the will to bestow, and then with this integrated, this shared impression, I can come to contact with the Creator. This is what I see in the friends, primarily. In a simple, egoistic manner, yes. There's no in order to bestow here yet or anything. You want to achieve the goal, it's important for you. You weigh things like that, egoistically. If it's important, you surrender, you subdue yourself, you get from them, you're impressed by them, and so on. As we do in the study, wherever we study, I'm impressed by one who is greater than me, and so I learn from him. These are actions which are easily understood by us. Yes.
A question from Colombia, from the 10 on duty. They say the following: in the gradual process of correction, how can we feel the difference between the degrees? Is it even possible to feel the next degree before we reach it?
According to the resistance towards the friends, towards the environment and integration with them, this is the wall. It's not that there is an actual wall in front of you. The wall is in your hearts, between you and the others. And that's it. Yes, trans.
Rav, can you draw how the ovyut, the coarseness, if we integrate together, the coarseness grows?
No. The coarseness in each and every one is present in each and every one. I need to integrate with the others by subduing myself with my own coarseness. I do not receive coarseness from others. This is a different kind of integration. The main thing, now we're talking about only about how we integrate with our impressions from one another, the importance of divinity. All right?
We're talking only about that?
Yes.
Okay.
The importance of the goal.
How to integrate together.
Each one wants to integrate with the others, and this brings us to advancing together. It's not the same work, but we're coming near. At least in that I understand the use, the benefit of these friends. I don't reject them. I feel that I constantly need to collect from them a spiritual impression. They're my 9 sfirot. Through them, I reach the Creator. Within them, within the impression which I receive from them, I discover, I reveal the Creator.
But what do I do individually? We are sitting.
You surrender to them, and through that, you receive an impression of the importance of the goal from them. You see it in each and every one, the extent to which he invests, the extent to which he concedes, the extent to which he gives, how willing he is, this is an impression of the greatness of the goal. You're jealous of him in that. By that you purchase, you buy his impression. And when you receive this impression from everyone, this is enough for you in order to jump over the wall.
If I get an equivalence from the friends, equality with the friends, if I get it from the friends, this is considered that I'm integrating?
If you are integrating in the friends' impressions, you are included in them. You're getting their impressions. That's it. So you're in them. It's not yet the entire integration we have to attain, but it's already giving you some formation of the right integration regarding the Creator, and from that you can address.
How come a person has an impression as though he's outside of the circle?
He really is outside the circle. He is really outside the circle. 9 friends are before him. He's alone, and they are 9. That's true. And he has to subjugate himself in order to get the impression from everyone. And this impression is, this integration gives him his neshama, his soul, his kli, as much as he annuls himself in order to integrate in them, to appreciate them, to see them as great ones. Accordingly, he is incorporated in them, and he has the first 9. What is his malchut? It's not just simple will to receive. To the extent that he subjugates himself with his ego, with his will to receive, in order to get the impression from them, he's building his malchut regarding the first 9.
Et chacun fait des efforts, mais à un certain moment, on a l'impression que on parle avec notre cerveau.
For example, when we have a workshop, each one is making great efforts, but at some stage it starts seeming to you that each one is talking out of his own logic.
Okay.
I don't feel that I'm talking out of my heart, and I keep integrating with the friends.
I see the friends the way I see them. That's the way the Creator is presenting this whole matter. I don't see anyone. The Creator is the one who's giving me this salad. I see the friends. One is laughing, the other is sleeping, the third one is speaking nonsense, this one's that way, this way. I'm subjugating myself to get the impression from them. That's it. I'm preparing myself before I come to the 10. When each one comes, he woke up in the morning, he came over, not in the morning, in the middle of the night. He came over, he's here for hours, then he goes to work. He invests his life into it.
Je ne parle pas des amis, je parle de moi. Que moi, je ne sens pas que je suis en train de m'intégrer avec les amis. Je sens que je suis en train de parler avec mon cerveau. Je parle de moi, pas les amis.
I'm talking about myself. I'm not talking about the friends. I'm talking about myself. I identify that I'm talking from my intellect, that I cannot be integrated with my friends.
That's also from the Creator. What do you think? That's you. You're feeling yourself. You feel what the Creator wants you to feel. You think what the Creator wants you to what He lets you think. It's not you. Who are you at all? A piece of box or protein. That's it. And you have to make the calculation about this. You are only given one thought, that it comes from the upper force. That thought is what you have to develop. And from it, that's your spark. And from it, you have to build the right relation to reality and to the Creator.
So
how do I examine myself that I'm working correctly according to the same rules?
To the extent that you're saying that there's no one else besides Him, and to the extent that you're working with the friends in this correct way, that they are your force to communicate with there's none else besides Him. But I'm not going to let you ask during the Congress, so don't come close to the microphone. Come on, Zvika, you wanted to... I won't let Zvika in the Congress as well.
I never ask during Congress. I was asked, why don't you ask? I don't want to ask.
Yeah, because you're afraid to shame yourself.
Yeah, to shame myself. Rabbah says that the Creator wanted to delight His creatures so that they will feel happy in the world.
Yes.
You know what?
I'm happy anyway, right?
And then I see the next sentence and it really bothers me. But according to what is explained in Matan Torah, where it says that the reason why the creatures don't receive the good and the pleasure, why don't they receive it? Because this is the reason of the purpose of creation, but there's the disparity formed between the Creator and the friends. And I see how much friends are making efforts.
No, I don't want to go into that.
The Creator wants the creatures to be happy, but on the other hand, He says, first, reach an equivalence of form with the Creator, and then you will be happy.
Yeah, you're talking like a child.
Yes, I am a little child.
A child wants something, and he's told, you'll grow up, you'll become wiser, you'll understand, you'll feel, you'll also work, you're going to have money. And then you'll buy a plane ticket and fly to wherever. Right? It's not now. You're coming to me with this complaint. You don't have the kelim, the vessels to attain the truth. That's it. That's what we're working on. All your complaints are good, but what's the result of it? This is the meaning of a fool sitting with his arms crossed, eating his own flesh. So stop eating your flesh and stop being a fool. Start collecting impressions from the friends, and they'll give you the force to jump above the wall to the first degree. That's it. That's what we need to do. What else can you do? I'm telling you, it's possible. Mister, if I can do it, you can also do it.
I didn't say I can't do it, but...
So, pay. What can you do? You have to pay for everything in your life.
Pay what?
Pay with a screen. Okay, that's it. We're through. Oh, a guest started asking. That's better.
Hello, Rav. I'm Arsini from Moscow. If you see every friend separately as great, then you are inspired from every friend individually. But how to be inspired from the connection between those giants ones in the contradictions being revealed?
It's good that contradictions are revealed and problems and opposites, and I don't see anything special in them at all. Right, Gershon? What can I see in you? What is there to see in you? I have to be impressed of something. So I'm saying, before, you didn't hear me. Before I even come to the group, as I wake up, I don't want to wake up. I imagine how much all these friends are more tired than I am. And nonetheless, they do come to the lesson. They're sitting and they're really trying. Later on during the day, how many actions of connection between themselves are doing. In the evening, they come to the Zohar lesson. Or yesterday, to the Yeshivat Chavarim. And they're working on the Congress now. So look how many things they're doing in their life. They have no other life. They just make some money for the family, and then they come to study. All the rest is nothing. That's it. That's their life. So, when I look at them, by that I'm impressed. This impression is something I'm afraid to lose. In it, I'm already... I already have this special relation to the purpose of creation. Look how many people and how much the people are impressed of it, and then that's their tendency. So I appreciate them. They give me the strength. That's one thing. Later, when we sit together, I try to see in each and every one his special tendency, his special force. How should I say it? that he's working, and this gives you strength. That's my first 9. By the impression I get from them, I reveal the Creator. Because that's my kli. Why? Because I annulled myself in order to appreciate them, to get the impression from them. That's the first 9, against or upon my resistance. That's the way it works. That's the way you should always work. Are you from over there? Yes.
Dennis from Moscow is asking, how does the ideal group seems like according to Rabash?
Read all his articles and find there what you think sums things up. And that's it. That's the group. We talked about it 1,000 times. You wanted to ask? Yes?
Здравствуйте, Раф. Алексей из молодежной группы Питера. Такой вопрос. Что правильнее?
I'm Alexei from Peter. This is my question.
Что правильнее, впечатляться самому?
What is more correct?
Поставить цель впечатлить товарищей.
What is more important, to be inspired by myself or to inspire friends?
Well, that's the next question. We didn't talk about it yet. I started with having no strength to attain the goal. Rather, I have to gather it from the 9 friends, and then I'll have the strength. And then I can reach the goal. We only talked about this. About my duty to inspire the friends. We didn't talk about that yet. That's the other side. We're going to have to talk about that as well. There are other manners we have to work, each of us. Regarding the impression, that's something I have to give. I have to also receive an impression. That's regarding the impression, the first 9. And regarding the Malchut, how we restrict it, we set an example for others, and that's how we build the Parzuf. It's all from the integration and the inspiration we give each other. Yes? That's it. Well, first the guests. Who else wants? No one? What? Okay, yeah, you're from the group. What?
A question from Colombia. Which kind of actions I can identify that they bring contentment to the Creator?
For sure, by these actions I give contentment to the group. What actions? Doesn't matter which. If I give contentment to the group, connect them, unite them, increase make them have a better mood, or give them some upliftment somehow, organize, even corporeally, I give them, not even. This is very important, to give a corporeal support to them. All this really helps you advance towards the Creator. Personally, for this person, this is very important. Now, for instance, there's a Congress. The more you invest in it, that's very important for one's own personal advancement. I highly recommend you do not miss this special time. A corporeal investment each one can give, the number of calories you're putting into it, the time, the will, it works this way. Okay, we're repeating the fact that place, the coffee room, is only for the women. Men have their coffee outside. Okay, that's something else. Oh, I didn't get that. Sorry. Yeah.
Hiro from Japan is asking, how can I see a friend who doesn't participate much in groups or group efforts as greater than me? I'm proudful compared to him. Hiro from Japan is asking, if I see a friend who participates in lessons and group activities less than me, it is hard for me to see him greater than me. So how can I work on my ego?
That's impossible. Maybe according to his corporeal, spiritual, health-wise, that's why he's behaving that way. So what? We have an example from the Bible. When a person comes one day a year to Jerusalem from his place where he used to live, Bar Bioma, that's his name. And until the time it took him to walk with his camels or donkeys to the temple in Jerusalem, he brought his maaser, and then he came back to his business. That was the time between the crops and all that, I don't know. So it took him until today. They talk about it, that his one day of study, because it took for the whole year, he was thinking about that day, how much he can give. So it's worth the entire study of someone else. So what am I trying to say? That if you would look at it in alien eyes, you'd say, what? One day a year he's studying, and you see the people here are studying day and night, go into all these places of Torah. And in our days, people are studying and studying. They don't want to go to work, only to study.
Ken.
Yes.
Александр, единая виртуальная группа. Рав, подскажите, как правильно?
Alexander from the United Virtual Group. Give me an advice how to do the spiritual work correctly in the 10 with the first 9, with the 9 together, or first with one friend and then another friend.
Some people really first have a special connection with a few friends before they reach a connection with everyone. You have to reach a connection with everyone, because even the ones you can't be impressed of, specifically there, you may have the strongest force to leap. And so eventually you have to be in the group, mixed with everyone, impressed from everyone, and to discover, really dig into each and every one and find what diamonds this person has, yearning for the goal of creation so much. So try to see each and every one this way. But in the meantime, yes, you can do it with a few friends. If this is your first time in the 10, well, of course, you'll be attached to a certain person, one or another, someone who's more comfortable according to your character. That's natural. But eventually, you have to be equally impressed of everyone. You see that it's the Creator. Don't forget about this. One sees that it's the Creator. He accepts it. He doesn't see it yet. Later, he will see. But he accepts that this is what the Creator organized for him. In general, when we start seeing that it's the Creator organizing things in the family and also in the teacher and everything, you start establishing the different form of life that you have through this picture that is shown to you. You can connect to the one who established it. Okay. Yes.
Eddie from Germany is asking, during the Congress, how should a perfect 10 look like so that everyone will feel and take an example from it?
That's a question. And I'm going to ask everyone. I don't have an answer. You answer it. How should a 10, the right 10, be in the Congress in order to show an example for everyone? Come on, a good question. And tell us all later. So, a few moments, and then we want to hear a summary.
It should be connected above every physical state it's going through. Even if the friends are scattered, doesn't matter what. They should hold on to the inner connection constantly.
Also, to give an external example for everyone, to really show that there is a connection between us, we hold it, we are committed to each other practically.
There
is such a 10 during the Congress. It is this feeling or this common field between us which is constantly is inspired, and have strong inner impression when we come out from each other towards the others.
Rav, but you're trying to raise something practical, right? For example, you are the 10 that is the example in the Congress. So how can we be impressed of you? Come on.
We have to demonstrate that we subjugate ourselves before the group. The question is how to show it to everyone else. And that despite the disparity and the gaps between us, we hold on to the connection. Doesn't matter how we feel right now.
Yeah, to see ourselves as messengers of all the people who came to the Congress, where everyone is 110, no matter where you came from, and think and only talk from this place of unity and concern for this 10 that includes the entire Congress.
We are ready to serve. We are ready to serve each other and everyone else, to be the smallest.
Yeah, practically, maybe we should remind all the friends every moment and that behind the friends there's the Creator. And this place of the Congress is the King's Court. And our duty is to bring what seems to us as the friends. Actually, they're parts of the soul. We have to bring them together. And every time we meet, we can give impressions how we did it. And always talk about the matter of the Creator standing behind every friend.
Yeah, everyone who's coming to our 10 will hear in everything that's going on, in everything that we're saying, that this is the Creator playing with us.
Because no one is talking from his own self. Anyone who is in contact with such a 10 feels as if there are no individuals, there's one body.
And the times when we meet, these are moments, points throughout the day, and all the rest, we serve. We serve during the Congress on the one hand, and on the other hand, we hold on to those moments. We create such a connection between us which accompanies throughout the day.
We feel the responsibility as if the entire Congress is on our shoulder. If we hold this Congress, this connection between us the right way, the entire Congress will be in the air, meaning in the same thought. That's what we should feel.
Perhaps to give an example to the one we're talking to, doesn't matter about how I feel towards my 10 right now.
Every motion I have to examine myself. Am I giving contentment to the friends? Do I want to give contentment to the friends? Any physical action, speech, or even thoughts?
To demonstrate how excited we are constantly. There are many times when we are engaged with something or we're busy with something and it seems on the outside that we don't have a good mood. So we have to make sure that every time you meet a friend, you are always smiling. You demonstrate even in a fake way that you are very inspired right now.
Rav, who's ready? Okay, Gershon. What? Or Niv? You can speak.
But it should be the 10, perhaps Niv.
You can speak, all of you. Okay, well, stand up, say it.
Okay. So Niv Navon is our expert in explanation of the 10, so he is going to explain.
He learned from me. He's my student. Yep.
We have agreed that during the Congress we will be a row 10.
You won't be a 10. You may be, I don't know. How's it going to be? Random 10s. But each one in his own random 10 will make sure that his 10 is a 10 as an example. So how are you going to build your 10 to be an example?
We will do it the following way. On the one hand, externally, we will always serve the Congress and examine whether we uplift the friend spirit. It's not enough that we serve the Congress, but we have to be in a special attention whether we project greatness and inspiration to the friends.
Yes.
And internally, we're going to hold each other in such an inclusion that we will constantly feel that we're working from within the 10 and not from ourselves.
That's all internal work.
Yes.
What will we see externally from you?
We will be 24/7 serving the Congress. We will hardly sleep, but we will always put a smile on our face. We'll hardly sleep because we will always be serving the friends at the Congress.
No, don't exaggerate here, but what, except for your smile, is there anything else to do?
To constantly remind the friends that there's none else besides him who operates behind each and every friend here.
Okay, so how will I feel that you're acting in this to uplift me, to warm me up towards the goal? Well, when I look at Gershon, I'm already somewhere up there. But what about you? How? Seriously? I have a problem. Do you have an answer? Well,
Sergei from Nepal says that in our 10 we will tell the whole Congress that in our 10 we have revealed the Creator, and we will show it that we'll do it happily and joyfully.
meaning as if we're already in this revelation and connection, right? That's correct. This is the atmosphere that should be in the group, because we are coming closer to this implementation, and it's extended to others. That's true. What? LA, yes.
We have a question. Can we ask?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the question is, it says in the article that one should avoid receiving pleasure for oneself because he craves it. And my question is, when I'm awakening friends and practice bestowing to my friends, to my 10, immediately after I feel pleasure from seeing myself as righteous or big, or I did something great, and I feel it as pleasure.
And immediately after that, what do you feel?
Pleasure for myself, and feeling shame immediately after that.
Okay, so you already have the complete. So what do you do next after feeling the shame?
That's the question.
Okay, good. You are willing to feel the shame, just not to stop awakening the friends. That's it. So this shame is one more step of your ego you have to skip above. Yeah, what can you do about it? I'm willing to do it. There are many actions that we must perform, and you can be sure that they will make us feel the shame. From the good angle or bad angle, doesn't matter where from, but I'm going to step on this shame, step over this shame. That's the best way to annul oneself. That's great. He already sees these things. Okay. Who else can give us an example how to annul oneself and awaken the entire big Congress? Well, if you don't have here, where will you have? It's only you or your entire 10? A representative of the 10. Well, you have a 10? Can you stand up and speak? No. Okay, guys, this is quite a problematical situation. What do we do, Dudi? Why are you looking at me? Well, who should I ask? I don't know. Amit, wake up and tell us. What should we do? Stand up. Not about your dream. Talk about what we should do. Yes.
Was very concentrated on my intentions.
Oh yeah, we all know that.
We've been thinking that because during the Congress we'll have random tens and everyone will have his own special duty.
Yeah, what duty?
Everyone has a different duty.
No, what duty?
Externally and internally. Internally to awaken the friends constantly, to invest in the friends.
To awaken the 10, to be an example.
Yes.
Right? Is there anyone responsible, someone who's responsible generally about it? Where's the team that organizes the 10? Yeah, random, I understand, but don't you have, after saying random, that's it? Everything is left alone? So, what? No, we should make sure that every random 10 will be a strong, united 10 for these few hours of the lesson and the workshop so that everyone will be as one man in one heart. I don't care in what 10 I'm sitting, but when I work with them, that's the way it's going to be. And in a moment from now, it's the same 10, but in my eyes, it gets a different characteristic. As if I move to a different 10. That doesn't matter where you sit. There's no difference. Because every time, the same person is a new person. So how should we? Maybe we need to write it down or prepare a sentence, an instruction sentence. What do we need in order to be consolidated within the 10? We're heading towards a state where we can do this. We're going to have such a general spirit that will swipe everyone. When you have a big mass, it really acts in a way that it can do this thing. Okay, so keep on, Amit. What's wrong with you?
You're talking.
No, next. What do we do?
First of all, it awakened in us the need to strengthen or to take the time we have till the Congress in our fixed stance to an extra connection between us so that every one of us, when he'll go out...
There is no constant 10. If I come and I have a 10, and if I see it the way I saw it yesterday, I am dead. Is this clear? Yes, it's clear. Good. You want to tell us how you're going to organize it? Please. Come on. Pass the mic.
I can only say, well, on Saturday, we had a very special lesson about a workshop
Yes.
which was based on the principles of Rabash work in the group. So from there I can take tools of how to behave in the 10.
But here we're talking, well, you may really have that over there, but here we're talking about the mood and the 10, setting an example for others, both spiritually, with the way what we have in the 10, the way we want to affect others, and also in some external way.
So we can use those lessons that we now have till the Congress when we're going to go over the Rabash's articles, and we can find some powerful principles from here, how we want to behave in a 10. In a Congress, we always behave like one big 10, and the purpose is always to keep adding to the connection between us and with everyone else.
No, I'm not content with your sentence. You're saying it's going to be okay. I don't want it to be okay. I want to be anxious before the Congress. I want to have some lack of confidence. I want us all to need the Creator. Then we can leap spiritually. Saying, oh, it's going to be okay as usual. All these people studying with us for years. We're so happy they're here. We're understanding. No. Strange people are coming over. No one knows the other, even though it seems as if you know the faces are familiar. We're all new here. We want to reach a connection like never before. We have to awaken everyone to see this, the whole matter this way. So don't go to it in this corporeal, beastly way. Everything's organized. Everything's going to be okay. We know how to make this Congress.
So I don't understand what am I supposed to do. Even as individuals, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do.
You're supposed to give them a new kind of impression. New. That will boost them upwards, not to their usual state, more.
And what is new? How is it different from the impression I gave them before?
It has to come from a new chisaron, a new deficiency, new kind of responsibility, a need for connection without which we reach nothing. So another Congress will go by, and what's next? Well, let's go home. That's it.
Clearly not.
What do you mean clearly not?
Clearly we want to...
I don't know, some people buy a plane ticket and then for that they sell things they have in their house. They go into debt. All kinds of things like that. And we're not organized yet in a way that we can take each and everyone's burden and to divide it between everyone. This is what we should have done. We hope we can reach that all the friends who come to the Congress equally participate. That everyone has to, whoever comes from wherever around the world. So I have to be concerned about everyone feeling the new degree, the new state, that the Creator dwells among us. Am I doing an action towards that? What action am I doing for the Creator to dwell among us?
So it's not about a 10 at all. It's more about individual work of everyone.
No.
Why not?
That's not true.
You said
I should see everyone coming and everyone's... Do you see me now? Why are you laughing? I'm acting pretty good. Now you're responsible to awaken me from this state to a state of this way. So how will you do this? Well, so you have 1 week to get ready for that. But you have to do this. And moreover, not an impression. You have to connect the hearts for everyone to be as one heart, to be correctly impressed and correctly incorporated until the Creator is revealed among us. will dwell in us.
So where's the 10 here? Because it is
All
me
of us.
seeing you this way.
You are in a particular 10 over there. You can't affect 5,000 people. So you are in 110, but in this 110, you're acting on everyone.
So every time I save the 10 which I'm in?
Yes, at least. This is very important. We have to make sure. We have to move on to this work. Amit, okay, so you woke up, now you have a question?
Yes, I want to continue.
Oh, you see?
I just want to, this is exactly what the friend started saying. So that state where I come with some previous constant 10, not in the level of bodies, there is a connection between us as a 10 which was built, that's not good. So I have to go there and be included with every random 10?
Of course. Why is this important to me? It's the opposite. You didn't hear me yet. If I come every day and I see the same faces, but they seem new to me, then I'm coming to a new spiritual state. Yes.
Okay, but the question is, how do we as a 10 give an example during the Congress? This is what I want to know.
First of all, internally, that's clear that if we're all connected and we want to bestow each one to his friends and every 10 to the other 10s, we have to talk about it as well. That we, as a 10, we connected, and what's next? We want to rise? Rise where to? To whom? If we're not incorporated in the others. This is not the cave of Rabbi Shimon. That was different. Here we're talking about the fine correction. We have to incorporate with other 10s. Rising in degree, it's not within a 10. It's incorporating. So how, in this Congress, we affect, every 10 affects the other 10s. And in general, the entire, all those who participate in the Congress, physically and virtually. This is the question. How can we do that? Well, work on it. Let's think about it. It may be that here we have to give some certain expression to a few 10s, to let some 10s do something. Again, it doesn't matter what we're learning. What's important is that we will feel that there is inclusion, incorporation. Each one is integrated with the 9. By this, he's building his upper 9, his first 9. And that's his spiritual kli. Every 10 does that to the other 10s as well. That's the meaning of a gradual correction. Gilshon, I don't want to hear your personal questions. You want to talk about the 10, how to act regarding the other 10s? Okay.
First of all, now after this conversation, it seems to me that we shouldn't leave it to faith, rather we should plan something. So what I suggest is,
nice.
We strongly feel how needed it is.
Look, he's speaking to the point.
I'm usually talking to the point. So I think that we should dedicate at the end of every lesson, at the end of every meeting between us 10 to 15 minutes for a random 10, which agrees.
In the Congress,
in the Congress. But now they agree, the friends agree how they're going to awaken the friends. And then when you have 110 who agrees that they go out like a tsunami to awaken the friends, then I assume it will awaken the friends.
Okay, this may be right. Shai, are you responsible over the 10s? I don't know who to talk to. You're with the groups, that's what I'm saying. So you have to write this advice down and think about it, how to do it. This may be right.
Another question from the anxiety of entering. Sometimes entering from a mass into work in the 10, you can disappear into the mass.
Doesn't matter. We're all coming, and you have to awaken this matter. We are all coming in order to connect and to reveal the spiritual form between us. We're coming in order to establish a kli. Well, so we have warmth, this warm approach, and everyone is willingly coming. These are our friends. This audience is with us together. Look now too.
I'm fearful, like Gershon, that when I will come and sit with the 10, this warmth, I won't have it. I need to awaken it, even artificially, at first.
Hold your hands, talk about it, and you have to talk. All the friends who feel themselves that they have what to say, but not artificially. Rather, they can really awaken the heart of the 10. They must speak. For the first few minutes, you have to be in it. Because without this inclusion, just as I started talking today, without this inclusion with the friends, when I receive from each of my 9 friends, I get their impression, their inspiration, their yearning and tendency to attain the goal. I will not attain the goal. I don't have the first 9. That's something I have to know.
You mentioned to write a sentence or operating systems in the 10 at the beginning of the meeting. So how do you see it happening? You see that there's a representative, or every table has a note that you follow its instructions, or how?
You know that. I don't know. I can't think about it. I don't know. It's not my business. What's your... Are you responsible over this sort of thing or not? No. I just want to talk to the ones who are working. No, your personal questions? No.
Dennis from Moscow is responsible on the World Kli 10. The World Kli does sit on constant groups during the Congress and having duties together. So he's asking, should they start preparing in those 10s?
Of course they should. You have a week left. Tomorrow, in a week from tomorrow, we're in the Congress. What do you mean, lesson number 0? Next Monday, we may have lesson number 0. We'll see. With me? He's telling me like he's my boss. Yeah, I'll bring him. We'll have a lesson. Okay. I'll be free for it from 7 p.m. Not before that. Next Monday.
I'm just saying, well, you mentioned last week that it's important to come a day earlier to read Zohar, be together.
No, but I also don't want to disturb all these actions and work.
So we had a meeting yesterday on this day of preparation, and to see how we combine the technical preparations that we need to do with the lesson. And such a lesson, it's good, because this way we try all the systems before the Congress, and this is an opportunity from friends from the World Kli to be there an evening earlier to prepare the place.
Good. Okay, so we'll have a lesson.
So it's going to be 1.5 hour lessons from 7 till 8:30.
Well, an hour. It doesn't really matter. You have to prepare nice excerpts. A psalm for the new house, new temple, like from Psalms, and things that move people.
Well, a few questions. First of all, the World Kli sitting in fixed tents during the Congress, is it fine?
Whatever they want. I'm not saying here. In the Congress, we don't have a choice. We have to mix the people. So who they mix with among themselves? Yeah, if they want, I would recommend it. But again, I don't know. I'm not going into all these conditions of what they have. I'm not going into this. If people are studying with us all the time, like Moscow group or all these groups, so they can choose what's better for themselves. I don't know what the tens and how. Maybe this will But instead of bringing them to leap upwards, they will make them fall. I don't know, and I don't want to. You see how Kabbalists do it. They give you an advice as much as you can, and then as much as they can, and then you have to do what you choose to do. I don't want to determine this. Yes.
Do we have a habit that we see as something positive? The conclusion of the day. At the end of the day, in our tens, we discuss what we have done, what we plan for the next day. Now, on the level of thousands of people, it's not so practical. Do you recommend that after the Congress, the fixed tens will gather together virtually and summarize the day?
Virtually, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it will only cause a confusion. These tens, those 10. I don't care about 10. That's the way it should be. I really don't. People who come over here every day to study, in my eyes, that's it. That's a 10. There's nothing else. Okay. No, guys, you already... That's too much. Bill, yeah. We have to let him.
You know, we have the greatest tool in the world that we could work with. You look at all these people that have sacrificed everything they have to come here. And if you really open your heart to these people, they will ignite those same feelings that you had when you first came here. If everybody here would take the time to reach out to those that haven't arrived here yet, to reach out to the other groups in the world, and take this enlivenment that you're getting from the guys that are here now, oh my God, everything, Rav, you're asking for would happen. When everybody shows up, they'd be filled with such anxiety and such, I don't know the word, but everybody would just be sitting there vibrating, ready to attack. And this is what we need.
We'll try. All of us together, we'll try. Okay. That's it. Anyone from the guests want to ask? First them. Well,
short advice. On Monday night, the night before the Congress, before your lesson, along with the lesson, if we can have a Shivat Chaverim as a preparation for the lesson.
Whatever you want. It's not, if you're counting only about my words, that's not good, because there's no group here, and there's no activity on your behalf. You have to make sure, you have to take care of your own future. Yes.
Can I ask about what we read?
Okay.
Rabash writes that on the one hand, in order to reach love of others, you have to be in lowliness, but on the other hand, you have to be proudful. What does it mean to be proudful?
About the right path. The fact that the responsibility is upon me and I have great work to do. We have things to be proud about.
And how do you express it? What does it mean?
I express it by being proud. I'm proud of... There's a verse. The Creator chose you.
But doesn't it say that everyone who is proud, me and him, cannot dwell in the same abode?
Yeah, you're correct, but it depends on the kind of pride. My pride tells me I have to subjugate myself and to clean everyone like as if babies with their diapers, and have to change diapers and feed them so they'll grow and grow and grow. And that's my work. So after being proud about being chosen by the Creator, that's what He gave me.
So they need to coexist, both the lowliness and the pride?
Of course. First of all, because I got it from the Creator, so I'm proud. But regarding this work, this pride becomes subjugation. Yes.
Раф, подскажи, пожалуйста, а кому вы завидуете?
Who are you envious of?
Everyone. Everyone. I want to be instead of the Creator. Yeah. Well, of course, Rabbi Shimon, Moshe, Avraham, that's for sure. Man's ego feels himself special, one, unique, and unified. The more a person grows, his ego grows more and more, along with the subjugation, along with it. Without one, you cannot have the other. But if you look at it in modal, an absolute value, if you look at the ego, it grows till it reaches Ein Sof, infinitely, till it reaches Malchut of Ein Sof. That's why, who am I envious of? All the achievements anyone ever had, the Creator. I'm envious of that quality, which is entirely limitless. Why not? The truth is, I don't yet envy it. I don't have such a great will to receive, but it will come, I hope. Each one is greater than his friend. His inclination is bigger. Don't be afraid of it. Yes. When we now read Rabash, aren't we envious of him, being like him, feeling what him? How can I advance without this? Envy, lust, and honor bring a person out of this world to the next one. Yes?
How did you attain such longing?
Everyone is envious. Why not? Wherever you go, when you go to learn carpentry, so you're envious of your teacher. He knows, you don't, so it helps you acquire a profession. Everywhere. Envy is a must. If you don't have envy, you'll never advance. Yes?
На конгрессе идеальная десятка.
And accordingly, during the Congress, the ideal 10 will be in maximum envious. We look for examples and will be envious of 10s that will be as an example to it.
That's very good. They should be envious as much as possible, of course. Moscow.
Good morning, friends. On behalf of the organizers of the 10 in the World Congress, we're going to say a few words. First of all, a while ago we decided that the 10s at the Congress of the World Kli will be fixed 10s for all 3 days according to languages, but mixed within the languages. Let's say if you speak English, then there will be something from the eastern coast and the western coast, one from England, another one from Holland, South Africa, and so on. So we'll mix them up together as much as we can. And we hope that it will enable not to get used to and see their friends. Well, we will always see the 10 as new on the one hand. On the other hand, the 10 will be in duty once during the Congress kitchen duty, and everyone from the friends in the World Kli who's coming to the Congress bought this opportunity, this privilege to be in the kitchen just by arriving. And the Congress is going to be filled with friends from the World Kli. We very much hope that the area sitting before you will be like the train engine that will keep pushing us forward and will give an example and a reason to envy for the rest of the world.
That's what I wanted to ask. When you sit in the Congress, do you feel that there's a difference where when you sit closer to the stage, on the sides, or in the back? Yes, you do. Where? As much as the ones sitting in front and in the center is better, stronger. So this means you have to push them to the back. Why do you think this is the way it is? There's less motion there? You're more concentrated on the lesson. Why? That's the way it is?
People go back and forth. They're going to have a drink, toilets. They're not as concentrated.
Why? Why? They have a problem with their bladder? Or what? Why do they need so much? That when they sit out back, such people sit out there.
Duties, yeah. What is usually happening is because people who come to the Congress, they come from different circles with different abilities of how much they can sit and observe. What usually happens is that friends from the world Kli who came to the Congress in order to be in the Congress with the maximum concentration, they sit close to the stage. And if you sit back, then there we have more general circles and people are more scattered.
They choose their own places, or even if I sit on the side or in the back, I'll behave this way.
First of all, we direct friends from the world Kli to sit as close as they can to the stage and in the center. We direct them to do so.
Guests first.
Our guests are friends from the world Kli, always.
Yes.
And when you say guests, question is which kind of guests you're referring to. There are such guests who are related to us, connected to us, who come once in a year for a Congress.
No, I'm not talking about the evenings.
No, I'm also talking about people who come to the full Congress. They come once a year for 3 days. They dedicate the entire time for that. But for them, it's a bit of a different experience, more general experience.
Well, what do you think? How can we awaken these people, more the people sitting out back? Moscow, they're only in charge of the virtual tents. I don't know. Do you have any answer to this, Denise?
We forgot to say that for a few days, every friend from the world Kli, now we're responsible for the world Kli, every friend from the world Kli will receive a letter with a list of his tents and the number of his table. And why do we do that? Because the Congress is very large. There are many people. If you come from some country, I don't know, from Ecuador, let's say, then you can get lost. And here you have a room, you have a place where you can gather, you are aware of, and then no one will get lost.
So there should have a table that's written there, table 18, place 5, number 5. Table or 10 number. You'll get a letter from the way we understand, and that's what happened last year also. Friends of the world Kli sit in permanent places and also permanent tents to help a person not to get lost. It's clear to him what table he left and what table he's coming back to. Because it's by languages as well. Yes, Denise.
In order to make sure that in the last lines that they won't be really in the periphery, there's a suggestion that strong friends from the Israeli Kli will be responsible to create some environment that's built from them so as to hold everyone inside and in such a focus and give them an example that no one gets up from the places in the back.
It's not simple. It's not simple, but we need to think about this.
There's another thing to take into account, that there are a lot of people who have duties, that when they can, they go into the lesson, but it's part of the movement that's happening. We put them in the back deliberately so they don't pose a disturbance, but there's an inevitable movement there.
That's right. Yeah, according to the role, it's clear. Well, yes, Gilad.
There's also a movement on the outside always, not necessarily people on duty, just by nature of things. Like always said, some people are not used to sitting 3 hours or a long time, and that movement is quite confusing, because a person who sits in the back, not in the center, it's very tempting to go out, to go to the bathroom, to anything besides focusing. So somehow we need to raise the importance, especially in the days before, the last days before the convention, to raise the importance to sit through in the lessons from the beginning to the end, because eventually the lessons are the main thing, the lessons and the gathering of friends.
Who could go up on the stage and talk about this before each lesson? How important it is to sit and incorporate, because that's what our success depends upon. And by going out, he also causes harm to others. Who could do that from us? Who would do it in the most moving way?
No.
Well, once I'm told Oren. Who else? Amit. Senka could be. Yes, who else? Gershon. It doesn't move me. I don't know why. Gershon. Sasha, okay. Gilad.
No.
Well? Kola and Nessie. Nessie. Well, okay. I would also recommend Roy Miron. Mushi, yes. He ran away. It's too strong. It has an influence on you. Okay, in short, also friends from the world Kli. I think that actually could have even more of a powerful influence, and give it to Owen and maybe some. Yeah, right. But for them to talk clearly about what? Yes, that concentration, integration between us. That should be clear to everyone. That if you leave, not only do you lose, but you're causing harm to everyone, somewhat. A few minutes. It could be like 2, 3 go up, but really for like 1 minute. But in such a way that it is clear. What? Yes.
No.
I think that also in relation to what we talked about, the density of the work in the tens and the example for other tens, and also what we spoke about now in how we conduct ourselves in the whole, there's something we have to kind of figure out in the integration of the world Kli with the Israeli friends, meaning the topic of languages is surely limiting, and we try to do this through gathering of friends, or like you said, from the stage. But if there was a way to create a much stronger mixture of the deficiency of the friends from the world Kli and their determination and preparation, together with the friends from Israel who come to the convention, I'm not just talking about the evenings, but in general, this could create a much more thick convention.
Incorporation is very important. I just don't know how to do it. I don't know. You may be experts in it, but be careful. First of all, language is a must. And through translation, everything falls. Okay. Well, we concluded these matters. Yes? Is there something else that's urgent? Yes? Erez Harari from Berlin says that he is also responsible for tens in preparation. He said that with the content team, per lesson, a preparation that would be ready and suited to the topic of the lesson, that could also include all kinds of, like an acquaintance workshop who I'm sitting with, if it's random, maybe a compliment game while we're warming up in the 10 inductions. Okay, let him join as much as possible. We understand that he is limited due to work, but yes, doctor. Now, in all the conventions I participate in, doctor convention, during the lecture, they close. They close everything. All the stores, everything is closed because everyone has to be in the conference lecture. So it really limits if someone has to drink and eat and all that. They should know that everything is closed during the lecture. Meaning that, that we bring water to the tables, yes? And other than that, there's no point in going out. That's what you're saying. Except for bathrooms. That's how it is in all the conventions. A medical conference, hundreds of people, everything is closed. The lecture starts, everything is closed. You can't go out. You can go outside, but there's just nothing out there. Well, do you want to do it that way? Who's responsible for that? Where's Alon? Okay. So, take care of that. Okay? I'm for it. Tea, coffee, yes. Water you're being given. You're given cups to the tables. You're sitting around the tables? Yes. On the tables. There's water in cups? Yes. What else do you want? Except for going out to the bathroom when you have no choice? You need to sit, and that's it. Meaning, we need to announce that before the convention that I'm all for that. I'm for it. There's people, it's difficult for them. Let them bring a doctor's note. What do you want from me? What is it difficult? It's difficult to sit. But he's bothering everyone, and he's completely breaking the matter. Let him bring a pillow with him. Sit on a pillow. What are you laughing? You're also sitting on a pillow. No. Okay, well, fine. It's not important. But I see that people come. It's really difficult to sit on those chairs. But when you stand up, you simply cut everyone from the connection. You're incorporated in everyone, they're incorporated in you, and you can't now give the impression. Instead of impression, you're giving them lightheadedness. I'm very much for doing what doctor said here. The doctor said, in short, yes, Gilad.
Again, like in education, there are two sides all the time. I think we have to create an atmosphere that this is going to be the most internal convention we're going to have, more than our Ava, more than anything before. It's really like that. We just have to talk about it. It's not another Israeli convention.
You're going to go up before the first session, the first lesson. You'll go up on the stage if you want with someone else. We'll choose someone and say that. Put them into the right atmosphere. There's something there, Roy.
We'll organize a team that will work on these preparations for the lessons, like you said now, that will be both friends from the Israeli Kli, the World Kli, and together they'll raise the importance before every session. Yeah.
Wonderful. I trust you. Yes, give it to the friend here.
Is there someone who can translate from Portuguese? I feel more comfortable to speak in Portuguese. Ok. I don't know, eu não sei se eu posso fazer isso, mas eu gostaria de ir subir ali no palco e ficar do lado do Ravi para poder falar uma mensagem para os amigos. Posso fazer isso ou não?
Can I make an announcement?
Can I go over there and stand beside the Rav to say something to you, friends? I think that's because you tend to give more attention, and I think that I can attract more your attention if I stand there with him. Can I go there?
שואל אם הוא יכול לעמוד לידך רב כדי לדבר על החברים, כי יש יותר תשומת לב מצד החברים שם.
לא הבנתי. בכנס? עכשיו? ולדבר למי?
And it's in the convention? And here? And talk to who? Oh, he thinks they'll see him, they'll listen to him better. Please.
יראו אותו יפה?
They'll see him nicely here. Well.
First of all, I want to say that I don't know if it is correct, but Ani Ahava Ata Rav. Ravi? No.
I love you, Rav.
I will say in Portuguese because I've been thinking it in Portuguese. Okay? O que mais chama a atenção dos amigos que até agora eu pude perceber quando quando por exemplo você encontra alguém e ele tenta dizer bom dia ou ele tenta dizer que
when you find someone and you want to say good morning and you try to speak to him in his language,
compartilhar suas ideias com ele.
Then you feel comfortable sharing what you have in your heart. And what I see that Rav wants to give to us,
entre 1 e 2, entre 0 e 1,
that
existem infinitos números.
1 and 2 and 0 and 1, there are infinite numbers.
Se torna 2 ou 0 se torna
and no one knows how 1 becomes 2 or how 0 becomes 1.
Infinitos números. E cada número
we know there are infinite numbers in every number, and every one contributes to infinity. I want all of you to remember that every one of you helps in building infinity. And in that infinity,
a cabeça, Rosh,
we don't always have, we always have the head that gives us the inspiration and leadership. But remember that everyone who is here can help and contribute
help him, well.
Eu estava pensando em mais coisas, mas agora eu não consigo lembrar.
That's what I have to say so far. I can't remember what else I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, in short, I see that the Congress started already, and everything is fine. Yes. A few other questions? With as much time as we have to the end of the lesson? There are none? If there are none, then we're going to go back to the sources. Yes?
I just want to say that yesterday he told us that this friend told us that he worked for 5 months to come here, and it really, to me, it makes you feel envy, and it's actually, it's not affection. It's more like, how does he have such a desire, such a yearning, and I'm here for so many years, and look at him. What do we do?
You should be ashamed. But on one hand, and on the other hand, the fact that he did, we can be incorporated with all his exertion, and each of us can take it as if it's his own. You just will have to pay for that with your concession, and that's it. Therefore, incorporation is, we don't know how the whole kli is just built from incorporation. That's the spiritual trick. In this world, and in order to receive in our corporeal desire, it's not enabled to do so. That's why we have to taste it and see how simply gives you this boom, and the world opens up. You simply enter into the incorporation. The whole kli is incorporation. Yes.
How to be inspired anew from every friend?
It depends on your efforts and how much you do the calculations and how much you've done, and there's nothing. And then you, from the bitterness, from sorrow that you're not getting anything, from the envy you start to see how much they're doing, and that advances us. Incorporating is something you first need to feel envy for. And you can feel envy after you've invested and haven't received anything, because then you don't disparage things. Because then you can see the greatness of the others and what they've done. It's important. Yes.
All right, as a preparation for the convention, there are many friends connecting from the World Kli, the Columbia group, and the virtual group from Israel connected together in a Zoom conference. There are many questions about the convention, and also both from Latvia and from Dnepr. They ask how in the remaining time we'll do such a preparation that each one feels responsible exclusively for the revelation of the Creator in the convention.
That's important. There's nothing else. It's not like you can press a button and it happened. We need to talk about it more and more. Other than that, throughout the day, maybe because there are questions there, we need to sort those questions, arrange them, and when they're sorted, I'm willing to sit either in our broadcast room in the studio, or in some other manner, or in the evening here for an additional hour, and answer them, those questions. I'm free for all those things. The preparation for the convention is the most important thing. It postpones anything else. So, if you are responsible for sorting those questions, I am responsible for giving an answer to any question. And it's not worthwhile for us to do it just in the lesson, because then the whole lesson will go to that, but we should do it in addition. Yes? Give him.
Is there such a thing of repeating the example? I heard this story about the friend from Brazil, and I was re-inspired. Does this exist, that you can repeat these things? Because you're not going to have there are no infinite stories, right? So when we sit together on the table in the convention, perhaps I heard that story, and I sit in the table and I can repeat that and be re-inspired.
Seek for how you'll be praying and being impressed, how to subdue oneself, how to see everyone as great. I'll tell you what for sure will help. As all those forms and all those pictures are placed to you, they're depicted to you by the Creator, personally. The Creator is stabilizing them before you. Don't ever forget that it's not what you're seeing, rather you're seeing what He wants you to see, and He's depicting that picture for you, and He's also giving you the mind and the feeling to see in that picture those things and others. And then through all those things, you're connecting to Him, you connect, arrive, and make from it already an action that is directed, guided. The impression itself is okay, but who is giving you that impression? To who can I give back the gratitude for that? That opened my heart, that expanded my sensitivity in it, that I can see others this way. Who's taking care of me here? As you, in this way, start to be aware of it and be thankful for it, that expands the Kli. Yes.
Hello, Rav. Misha from Astana Group, Kazakhstan. There's a 10, and all the friends in the 10 are very serious. They show a great example. And every friend is also an individual. From one, you can be inspired that he comes early and prepares coffee for everyone, sets up the monitors. Another friend, writes during the whole lesson. Another one speaks beautifully and is a great storyteller. And you find these very different and unique qualities in each friend. And they all unify as one. And then it becomes like a certain correct system. My question is about envy and inspiration. So, when I was on the plane from Kazakhstan on the way here, a lot of friends dispersed because one had to go from work and the other one went from another place. Then we had a gathering of friends. We thought about it for a whole day. And every friend created such envy and so much impression that you understood that if you don't pay him back with this impression that he gave you, then you lose everything. And in the same moment, you begin to understand what Rabash wrote about, that there is nothing outside the 10. And in that moment, you feel something so real, that this is just real, that within this, there's life. Then a day goes by, you go to sleep, and you feel the day after a completely different feeling. That inside, there's perhaps a growing of a youth. It's like, was this real? Was this actually real? And then you understand you have to once again achieve that. I don't know, did I say this correctly? Is this again just egoism deluding me, and we haven't achieved any connection?
It's a wonder that it holds a whole day for you. It could actually disappear after a minute, an hour. Soon you will feel what frequency it changes in. Yeah? Now you're impressed from him and everything. Within a second, all of a sudden some wave of ego comes to you, like where you see him completely the opposite, without even a transition. Immediate. Yes? And you enter that feeling and you look at him like with some, you can't even stand him, something appears to you disgusting. And then you grasp yourself, how am I looking at him now? And a moment before that, how I looked at him. We're being put through all sorts of such states. Yes?
How important is it that the moment you are inspired and you're given importance, that you immediately respond in the same way?
Otherwise it wouldn't be real. We operate from our desire. That's why everything depends on the protective system that we build upon our desire. And I need to constantly see myself how I will be more in bestowal, more protected, not to use in order to receive. But each time a new desire comes, a new picture, I can't do anything with it. Nothing. Each and every moment, if I'm advancing correctly, I see friends at the height of the Creator, and then in lowliness, in the abyss. Any given moment. But each moment, more than the previous. So there's no point in being impressed. Like he writes, only one with experience who goes through these states knows that this is the path. And then he's not impressed from what is happening to him, and he doesn't run away from it. He understands this is how you build the Kli, and we need to be in this process. And from many ascents and descents, we acquire the real Kli for the revelation of the Creator. We need to go through many actions. How many are defined for each and every one, but no one knows a moment before he enters into revelation. And then it happens.
Another question?
Yes?
When you are with the same friends for a long time, you don't have the option to change a 10. You get used to them. And that feeling of envy, it kind of declines, fades.
That's not good. That's not good. You have to see them as new. We must see them as new. You have to kind of like close your eyes, open as if you don't know them. You don't know them. And it's possible. So much so that you will forget what their names are. You'll forget. They will be so new all the time that you won't know what they're called, what their names are. I promise you this. It all depends on how you feel him. If he is as new before you, he's new. Yes?
Thank you.
It will come. More discernments will arrive. Yes.
I heard in the lesson you were asked who suffers more than everyone, and you said the Creator.
Yes.
I have this question.
That's called the sorrow of raising sons. The sorrow of raising sons, like with parents, towards their children. Who suffers more? Let's say a child there got a wound of some sort. Who suffers more? The parents, who have to care for it and heal it, and they're suffering from him suffering. And in short, the greater the Kli, the greater the suffering. But why? Because it's connected to the goal, and therefore it has the preparations for suffering. But by that, he does not diminish his suffering. This is the fact that I know that it comes from the Creator, is not that it calms me down. If it comes to my will to receive, it calms me. Oh, thank God, every day. I don't think about anything. I have someone there who's caring for me, and leave me out of it. That's a religious approach. But when it comes to spiritual work, there's a different approach. I must correct. Therefore, I suffer for everyone, and I have to do this. But actually, the Creator who discloses the Kli suffers more, seemingly. Yes.
From here comes a question. How to situate this suffering inside of me, or in the environment, perhaps more accurately?
No, you need to just give a good impression to the society only. Just to think how they will all be in an upliftment and in rising to the goal and what's before them. Just to bring that impression forth. Never bring them to, but what's happening, who are we, and so on and so forth. No. Yes?
Yeah, so exactly, I meant that kind of inspiration. not when I eat myself up, like a fool who sits in his own lap and eats his own flesh. But that power, or not pain, maybe power, that doesn't focus me into myself, but rather becomes like a trampoline, like a springboard that lifts me to further progress and to invest more, to yearn more.
I didn't understand the question. Did you understand?
He says how to use that suffering that you said that the Creator suffers. First of all, that we will suffer from it, and that it will serve us as a springboard.
If a person feels that he already does it, there's no answer to that. That already comes from that dialogue that a person has with the Creator. That comes from that dialogue, from the connection. Come to that, and you will see how much you can really talk with the Creator, like with a friend, like with yourself. You will talk with Him and receive responses and answers. Soon. That will be. Yes.
I see that the problem is really to be inspired by the friends when the actions they make. But during the preparation for the convention, it's easier. I don't know why.
During the convention, I'm not impressed by them, first of all. I think how I can operate in them, how I will give them an impression. That's actually the first concern I have. Yes.
Also, I see from our experience that it feels that the preparation time is more important than the convention itself.
Yes, correct. Because in the convention itself, already there's not much to do. It all depends on the preparation. The preparation defines the whole matter. Right. Who is doing the daily task for us today? Los Angeles. What?
Hello, friends.
Just before...
10 on duty was...
Just wait a second, friends. Just wait a second.
No.
Yeah. So we are asking all the friends in the world, Kli, to send us questions as part of the preparation for the convention. We have a new email address. That's askubb1@gmail.com. Well, we want to please show it on the screens.
Wait, do it again.
askubb1@gmail.com.
BB1
askubb1@gmail.com without the percentage at the end.
But ask you is written correctly?
Yeah, all the rest is written correctly. It's we'll organize all the questions there, and we'll have a
Very well,
like you said.
Very well. Los Angeles.
All right. Today's 10 on duty was Petah Tikva 21, Israel Virtual Group, Los Angeles 10 number 7, Colombia, and Brazil 10 number 4. It was truly an amazing honor and opportunity to serve you all. Today's daily task is each 10 will plan during the day in which way they will be the example of the perfect 10 during the Congress. Again, each 10 will plan during the day in which way they plan to be the example of the perfect 10 during the Congress. L'chaim, friends.
And
an announcement before we conclude the Zohar lesson. Men and women are invited to watch the daily Zohar lesson at 6 p.m. Israel time with Rav Leitman. Thanks to the TV viewers, and a good day. We are all one family, friends, viewers, dear students. Everyone is invited to the great convention that will take place in Tel Aviv on the 20th to the 22nd. second. And you can call 1-700-509-209 for details, or go to kab.co.il, and we'll move to a short clip. I had a fear that it could be perhaps too internal, that there would be things they won't understand, and that within 2 minutes they entered the exhibition gardens. I understood all the fears were within me. I remember my mother looking at the exhibition gardens and saying, wow, what she had this look of inspiration and joy that so many friends came from Israel to unite. People come, thousands of people, and are so beautifully organized and have such an event with listening to each other and being together and eating together, and everything's in this great, lofty spirit, something I would wish for the whole people of Israel and the country of Israel. It's not something I see anywhere else I go.
And that taste remained in them all year long. During meals with the whole family, they're the ones who talked about Kabbalah. They became the face of the wisdom of Kabbalah for the family. For the people that I know, I would invite them with the open approach. We talked about the wisdom of Kabbalah many times, and I want you to come and really feel what it means to study together the wisdom of Kabbalah. What do you have to lose? It's only one evening.
Do you want to invite friends and family to the convention? We recommend inviting them to one of the open nights. On the 21st, the Spiritual Spark. What is Kabbalah for real? A peek into the greatest Kabbalah lesson in the world, with thousands of participants from Israel and overseas. Spiritual experience you don't want to miss. And the second night, on the 22nd, Being Israeli, an experiential event with great food and great wisdom and a great experience for all. And for every ticket you purchase for a full day, you have a benefit of 3 invitations for free for one of the open evenings. Write to us. info@kab.co.il.
המציאות חולפת ואני עכשיו חושב מה ייתן תקווה ויסלק את הכאב יוצא אל הרחוב מתערבב בתוך כולם מי צריך את מי יותר אני או העולם Here we are You should come along With one voice We can spread this song Bring down the walls You know it won't be long When we're together We cannot be wrong Теперь я точно знаю, все мы соединены. Любой вопрос решаем, если вместе будем мы. Жизнь она как сказка, если мы одна семья. Бесконечно прекрасный мир и 7 миллиардов я. Here we are, you should come along with one voice. We can spread this song. Bring down the walls, you know it won't be long. When we're together, we cannot be wrong. Si nos dirigimos a un deseo por la unión, todas las puertas se abren al abrir tu corazón. Nada es imposible cuando hay fuerza y voluntad. Juntos bailaremos hasta la eternidad. Here we are, you should come along with one voice. We can spread this song. Bring down the walls, you know it won't be long. When we're together, we cannot be wrong. Here we are. spread this song. Bring down the walls, you know it won't be long. When we're together, we cannot be wrong. When we're together, we cannot be wrong.
I'm here doing an internship and helping with preparation for the convention. It's a great joy to be with all the friends here with the points in the heart and the great connections and the great desire that is here for bringing the wisdom of Kabbalah to the world. I'm looking forward to this very great convention. And we must all bring our Hesron to it. L'chaim.
Now we'll move to a video clip from the Latin Kli.